Hey guys, welcome back. Today I have to change the rear tire on my BMW S1000XR. It's a 2016. I have a little puncture in it, so the tire is past the wear mark, so it needs to be replaced anyway, so I'm not gonna patch it. So I'm gonna remove the wheel and I'm gonna show you guys how to do that today. All right, here she is. It is really straightforward. These bikes do come with a center stand, so just pop it up on the center stand and it is really easy. I had a rear axle slider on, so if you do, just remove those. Mine just required a 6mm hex socket to loosen this up, and it just pulls straight through the middle of the axle. So the first thing to do is take our axle nut off. Mine is a 34mm, so you're gonna need one of these big old sockets. So it's gonna require a decent amount of force. The nice thing about this bike is the other side is held in place. We'll see when we get over there, so you don't have to hold anything counter on the other side of it. So I'm just going to remove the nut. It's got a big washer, and this spacer is what you adjust this against to get your chain tension. So I'm going to take that off. When you go to put this back on, you'll know which side to face towards the front of the bike. You'll see a little wear mark in there where the head of this bolt has been making contact with that. Then just take a dead blow hammer. We can knock this in a little. Move the whole wheel forward a little bit, which will give you enough slack to walk this chain off. Just set it aside right here, and we'll come to the other side. Now over here you can see you're gonna have another one of these spacers, and I'm gonna hold my wheel while I just slide the axle out a little bit. This brake caliper is actually held on by the axle, so once you get the axle out, you will immediately wiggle this around a little bit, and you can just set it over the rail and everything is disconnected. Roll your wheel right out. And once you get it out, you will see that there's a spacer on this side, on the inside of the wheel, that you'll need to take off. And if you flip this around, you have another wheel spacer on this, but this whole assembly will come out. And set that down. And then there are these little rubber inserts. Just want to check them, make sure they still look good. I'll leave mine in there for now. That's all there is. I'm going to take this to my tire shop and have them get me a new one. And bam, brand new rubber. So this is my tire of choice. I go with the Michelin Road 5s. So for reassembly, just make sure these rubber bushings are in place. Don't forget those. And just stick your sprocket back in place. Make sure this big washer here is in place, and replace the one on the other side. Just hold the sprocket in place as you move the wheel because it can fall out easily, and roll it back into place. Go ahead and lift your chain back up so you can get it on the sprocket. Then on this side, gonna reposition our caliper back inside. And where this arrow is, you can see that there's a little metal block, and you got to make sure that this rail slides right into there. And make sure your pads go around the rotor. Now we can go ahead and take the axle and put that back in. And I always find the mark on this block that lines up with the head of this bolt that was touching it, so that it can be the same orientation as before. And of course, make sure this is lubed up still. Add more if you need to. All right, so key is to make sure you get this pads around your rotor, so then you can lift the wheel up high enough, and it helps if you have a second person with you to stick the axle in when it's all lined up. Spin this back around so it's in the right direction. All right, there we go. And then back on this side, just to reassemble the things in the same order. Find my mark here. So now it goes this way. Washer and the nut. All right, so you want to make sure you push the wheel all the way forward as far as it'll go to make sure these are all the way up against there. And then we can check our chain tension. And there are actually tensioning instructions right here on your bike. And you want to make sure that you look at these marks right here. So you can see the top one is on the 4th bar. And you can come around to the other side. It should be the same over here. All right, now I got a torque wrench and we got to torque this down to 100 Newton meters or about 78 foot-pounds. And I'm just going to put my body weight up against the tire to make sure that it is fully pushed forward. Be prepared, as soon as this gets tight, your wheel is off the ground a little bit, so your bike will rock back a little on the center stand. So don't let that scare you, just be ready for that. And one last word of caution, guys. Remember, new tires are slick, so be careful, drive it slowly and be safe when breaking that in. Hope you guys found this video helpful. Please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and there will be more content coming.